Joining me in the studio now is Nick Appleyard, President CEO of TriStar Gold.
Yep, thanks for having me today.
Welcome, Nick. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, great today.
Yeah, so you're from Australia, you live in Arizona,
Yep.
and you're mining in Brazil.
Absolutely.
This is an international operation.
That's our industry for us these days, I think.
Yeah, and the last 2 or 3 months, gold has got caught a bid.
Absolutely, and I think it was, the price was always okay, but the market seems to be now, gold's taken off and there seems to be some money flowing in as well, which really helps us these days.
And you just recently completed a financing.
Absolutely, yeah. Last week we closed a deal where we sold a 1.5% royalty to Royal Gold for total funds of $8.8 million US. So.
And that's their MO, right? They're a royalty company.
They are a royalty. They are the Rolls-Royce of royalty companies, yes.
Yeah, so they bought your royalty, so there's no dilution.
Yep.
And you've got enough money now. So this money, and we're going to talk about the property in a minute, but this money's going to get you to a point.
Yeah, that's their MO as well. They like to give you enough money to achieve a major milestone. And so with us, it was they wanted us to complete this pre-feasibility study, and so we had to prove to them, and through budgets and our work, that we can take $8 million and complete a pre-feasibility study with it. And so that's what we're starting now.
Okay, so let's talk about this property in Brazil. This is your flagship property.
Yep.
And it's very close to surface.
It is. It's called Castelo dos Sonhos, or Castle of Dreams is the English translation. And it's a conglomerate-hosted ore body, which outcrops with a conglomerate breaking surface over about 19 kilometers. So it's very easy.
And so how deep would you, now you've obviously drilled this, and you say there's no sulfides.
There's no sulfides at all. I haven't seen a grain of sulfide on site. There's literally coarse sand grains, quartz cobbles, and gold grains. And we drill 120 meter deep holes. That's it. We're just scratching the surface on this now. So we're taking the low-hanging, high-margin fruit. And
this is obviously developed over billions of years.
Absolutely, yeah. This is an ancient paleoplacer. It's like what you see the guys on TV in Alaska sort of running around digging out with diggers. But this thing formed 2 billion years ago and was being buried, and it's now it's rock hard, but it's still the same thing. It's still sand and gold.
So metallurgy isn't an issue here.
No, we get 98% recovery in all of our tests. So,
is that right?
Yeah, 98, and so do the analogous deposits. So we have no doubts about that scaling up to commercial recovery.
So without sounding trite, it's not about when, it's not about if, it's about when.
Yeah, no, I think with our PEA we published last year and the scale of the resources now, this one is over that hurdle of if it'll be a mine. It will be a mine, I mean.
And the fact that Royal Gold has given you
a stamp of approval, because they only make money when it's in production.
That's right. They're just taking their 1.5% off the top
when it's a mine. So
right.
They believe it's going to happen.
So okay. So the price of gold is acting right.
Yep.
So what would keep you up at night? A collapse in the price of gold? And just before we get into that, your all-in cost that you've sort of figured out here.
We published that in the PA of all-in sustaining of just under $700 an ounce. So it's very low cost. And again, it's because it's shallow open pits, simple open pit mining,
right?
And a very simple
and there's
process.
There's mining in the area. There's a lot of mining in the area.
Para State is a major mining jurisdiction. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And what's nice also is we're very close to infrastructure. That's another big aspect of this. Is we've got a highway going past. We're already on grid power. So it's.
So is a lot of your costs tied to the currency in Brazil?
Yes, there's a fairly large percentage of that. And what we found is if we get Brazilian engineering companies to us, they'll guide us a lot better. It's like, well, if you use, these trucks are imported and made in wherever, they're going to be very expensive. If you go slightly smaller and use this truck, it's made in Brazil, it's a lot cheaper. So you get guided on using the right equipment that's made in Brazil and not imported and doesn't, and is very, very efficient.
I haven't really been following the Brazilian currency. But I mean, in Brazilian terms, gold must be pretty.
Yeah, it's around 4 to 1 right now, or very close to 3.9. So it's very good now, and that so that allows us to operate. A lot of our in-country costs are very nice right now.
Now, tell me about some of your existing shareholders. You've got some big ones?
Yeah, absolutely. Our biggest shareholder is US Global, which is Frank Holmes out of San Antonio.
Frank Holmes is legendary.
Yep. Second biggest is Gold 2000 out of Zurich. And again, they are 9.9%. Their mandate doesn't allow them to go through 10, so they've got as much as they can get.
Right.
I think number 3, as far as the funds, is RBC here in Toronto. So we've got really good institutional shareholders.
Right.
And I think just as importantly, or from shareholder base, is that management and friends and family, we have over 25% as well. I think directly management, we have 15%, but we extend it to sort of friends and family.
Stock right now is around 20 cents?
Absolutely, yeah, right around 20 cents.
I think, is about 100, how many shares outstanding?
178 million outstanding right now.
So you're capped around 30, 40, 30, 35?
Yeah, just over $30 million right now.
Fully diluted, there's another 40 or 50 million?
Another 35 million, yeah.
Okay.
So it's around 215, 220 fully diluted.
So what's your sort of target for production on this? Like, I mean, you're obviously doing all this because you believe this is going to be a producing mine.
Yeah. So I took over the company about 3 years ago, and when our due diligence, our mandate to come in and do a management takeover was identifying a project that had the potential to produce 200,000 ounces a year for 10 years. That's still what we'd like to get this project to. Our PEA last year on a small portion of it produced 130,000 ounces a year. And so we'd now like to scale that up to get closer to our ultimate goal of 200,000 ounces a year is where we'd like it to be. But we've got the study showing we can do 130,000 ounces a year, and we've only drilled 50-60% of the deposit, so there's a lot to go.
Yeah, and this 19 kilometers, I mean, does it look like to be entirely mineralized?
Oh, absolutely. It's all covered by, most of it has got informal mining, working, scratching along surface. Most of it's got, nearly all of it has got a gold soil anomaly on it.
There's a nice picture there.
So we can see the green there is
Wow.
the soil anomaly where there's gold in the soil and that. So yeah, there's very good signs there's gold in all of it.
Right. And so if everything goes according to plan, you should be producing gold in a couple years?
Yeah, I think we'll finish the pre-fees next year. Probably it'll take another year or so to update that to full fees, and then another year after that to permit it and then build it. So probably 5 years from now, I think you'd be in production.
And
at a good scale.
At a good scale, and oh geez, my age is showing here. Well, look, it looks like you're sitting there, you're ready to go. It's you've got backing of the Cadillac of the royalty companies. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've had a history of obviously, like all of us, working in this mining industry a long time, and my analogy to the time we're in now is when we were in the early 2000s, a really tough time. I was at International Minerals, and that company survived and grew and strengthened its assets through that hard time. And
Yes.
I feel we've done the same with TriStar now, and that just positions us really well. If we're coming into a better time, a $1,500 gold price and some money coming into the market, we're really well positioned now, because we'll have a great news flow, we'll have a great growth in the project, moving forward towards production, a lot of interest from maybe other people who want to get that production. So we've done a lot of hard work through a tough time. Tough time to raise money to do the work, but we've done that, and we've de-risked the project and grown it by a factor of 10 nearly.
Yeah.
And I think we're really well positioned to
reap
the benefit here.
It sounds like you're going to be producing gold.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And your costs, because of the way the deposits at surface and the metallurgy is right.
Yeah. And we've got the infrastructure. That's a big deal because, Brazil is. Everyone forgets how big it is. It's as big as the US.
Yeah, no, I know.
And you can be a long way from a power line sometimes, or a long way from a road. And we're not. We're right. We've got a sealed highway going by us. We got high tension power lines with power in them going by us. So that really helps. And the other thing that is very critical, I think, is that it's been pastoral country, cattle grazing country, which has deforested it, which has impacted the environment. So you're not dealing with a virgin environment either. So which is nothing. No one ever wants to damage a beautiful, pristine environment. Sure. It's this farming country.
So a lot of people live in the area.
There's a village about 20 kilometres away of about 10,000 people. Okay. And they're all primary industry people. They're farmers, loggers, miners.
Yeah. So when you fly into Brazil, how far are you away?
When I fly from North America, I get down to Sao Paulo. For travel time, I'm about halfway there. So you got another couple of commercial flights to get back up to Sinop, which is the closest airport to the project. And then you've either got a 7-hour drive, or you've got it's sort of sealed highways, but it's still 7 hours, or you've got a 45, 50-minute flight in a little Cessna. We got a runway on site.
You indicated earlier that you drill down about 150 meters.
Yeah, generally 120 is what we carry out.
Is there any reason to believe that it continues?
Absolutely. This is a bowl, so it just
Sure.
you know, we're just where it hits the surface is where we're drilling it now.
Okay.
It keeps going.
Okay.
You know,
Nick, thanks so much. Really,
No,
really found this very informative, and thanks again.
no, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thanks.